since we're kind of through our, it looks like Paula is making dinner. Paula, what are you making for us? I'm gonna unmute Paula. So let's see. Paula, what are you making there?
Sandwich.
A sandwich? All right. All right. Have you guys all eaten? Sherry is.
Hi, sorry I'm late. I'll get on.
Sherry is feeding Sam. Sam, by the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but Sam's pregnant. And she just got back from Florida, being down there for the whole winter. And so she's due June, what, 22nd?
22nd.
June 22nd. She's having a boy. And so if you ever need, you know, any help and you can't get a hold of me, she is the go-to person. And a lot of times she's more accessible than I am. So I can give you guys her cell number. It's 828-817-6300. And the beautiful thing about this is that everything is being recorded and is going to be available in the replay tomorrow. So, and then you can see the replay for another year. So you can watch it backwards and forwards. So the good thing about that is that as we get into the weeks, each week we do a little bit of talking in the beginning, and then we go into really like one of the core lessons, and those lessons are recorded. I spend a lot of time recording them and editing out all the ums and dead spots and things that I don't say properly, so that it flows much better and it's more productive. But also those sections can then be replayed. So like next week, just to give you an overview, next week is going to be Sam doing PEMF, all the treatments for the full body. All right. Sorry, Paul. I'm muting you. Oh, who's that cute little girl? So, so to give you an overview, there's going to be there'll be sections that were recorded and then sections that are live. The sections that are live are really meant to be very interactive. So as you guys have questions, raise your hand and we'll jump in and start talking. And, you know, we really can take this whatever direction that you guys want to go. It's supposed to be interactive, just like our jump starts. We really take, this group is fairly experienced, so we won't spend as much time on the basics. We'll really get into a lot more advanced things. The PEMF training that we're going to do in week 2 is the full body training. And then in week 3 are the add-ons. And then we have really just a fabulous lineup for you guys for the full time. After week 3, we do the add-ons. And these are really Samantha talking all about you know, how you do specific areas like the legs and the loop, the heads, the loop over their head, all the different areas that are specific. But then week 4, we go into wound and injury treatment. And we have Christina Cooper come on, and she has an awesome section where she really talks about how she has completely revolutionized the treatment of wounds and what her treatment protocol is and what her success stories are. And Sherry, I'm not sure if that's you. I can see Sherry's screen, but I don't see Sherry. There we go. I think she was clumping around there. So week 4 is Christina Cooper and talking all about wounds and her treatment protocol. Week 5, we get into marketing, and this is a really great one. But we will also talk about marketing as we go through in each week. We'll have a little bit of marketing things in there, and it really kind of depends on how much you guys are really into doing more marketing. Week 6 is PMF for people, and here we're going to talk all about what you do with all the different accessories. And this course is supposed to be machine agnostic. So we do show you, most of you guys are it's funny, I'm having a hard time concentrating because I'm seeing literally like 12 different people's lives going on here. I got Paul making dinner, Leslie being comfortable with her baby running around, Shari, I don't know what she's doing. She's like jumping all over the place. She's still not on the screen. Who knows where she is? Becky, she's probably, feeding horses, and Angela's feeding horses, and the rest of you guys are, driving and stuff like that. So it's kind of weird. First, the last thing, it was weird because I couldn't see anybody, and I'm used to doing this in front of everybody, in front of a live group. So, and now I'm seeing everybody's, it's like being in, reality TV in everybody's, in everybody's living room and kitchen all at once. So anyway, I wonder if I can just change the view. Huh. Now all I see is Shari and her desk. Well, anyway, we'll get used to it. So anyway, I think I left off at week 6. Week 6 is PMF for people. We have a really great behind the scenes video of Marsha and talking all about the Pulse Center's, really the Pulse Center sales group and how to treat all the different modality, how to treat all the different accessories and what to do with them. And it's a real behind the scenes look. And then week 7 is a great segment with PMF for pets. And we have Kelly Lagarata. She comes on and talks all about how to treat dogs. And she just has a great practice down there in Florida and does a great job at treating dogs. So, and then week 8, it's just really all of us sitting down and talking. And I talk all about the competitive landscape that's out there, all the different machines that you use, the difference between high intensity and low intensity, and really some advanced marketing concepts, and all about being a competitor. And throughout the whole 8 weeks, one of the themes that we talk about is the difference between, the 3 areas that you really need in order to prosper as a practitioner. This is something that I have really come to realize over a 37-year career, and it all started with with my career back in real estate and with my career in computers and selling Xerox. But I started realizing that there are really 3 different areas that you need in order to be successful. And this course is a course on PMF training and certification. But really, in order to be successful as a PMF practitioner, you need to have these other areas. So I've kind of come up with this idea of the 3 circles of prosperity. And so what are the 3 circles of prosperity? The first one that really is something that people don't talk about that much at all, but is probably one of the key areas, and that is your mindset. And when you're talking about mindset, it's more than just like when people think about mindset, might think about, you know, having a positive attitude, you know, but mindset really goes a lot deeper than that. It really goes into what your intentions are. To give you an example, people may, you know, if you look at the different intentions between someone that is a competitor versus someone that is a co-creator. If you're doing this because of competitive reasons, say you want to take this course, why do you want to take this course? What are your intentions for taking this course? And your intentions are, well, I want to do it so that I can learn about my competition and crush my competition. So your mindset there is your intentions there is all about your competition and things external to you. Versus if you had intentions of really wanting to do this to be the best that you can be, you have a completely different set of intentions, and you'll have a completely different set of different mindset. So that is just a little example of mindset and how you really need to watch your mindset in order to be successful. And I think from a practitioner, one of the things that I've noticed is that it's real important to have a good mindset when you're going in to treat your horse, because horses really pick up on what your mindset is, what your intentions are. And if you're going in to treat your horse and you're in, you know, a really distracted state, a really negative state, let's say, for example, you know, you just had a bad conversation with your, you know, with your husband or whatever, and are really in an agitated state, horses can pick up on that. Versus if you're in a really good state and, you know, you're feeling really calm and centered and focused and really thinking about trying to do the best you can for that horse, that's a mindset that the horse is going to pick up on as well. And what we've noticed is that when you go in and do treatments, your mindset really has an impact on how well you can treat a horse. So that's one of the aspects that we talk about. Mindset can really not only affect your treatments, but it can also really affect your career and your business. So the second circle of prosperity is your product offering or your service offering. And that is all about, you know, doing the treatment, doing PEMF. And that's really why we're here, what we're going to talk about in this course, how you can learn how to do PEMF treatments better, and all the different techniques and everything on how to treat your horse. And then the third area is your economic engine. And this is really how you use marketing in order to grow your business. And the marketing part is, you know, one of the key things in really creating a successful business. You can be the best practitioner in the world, but if nobody knows about you, you're not going to have any clients, and you're really not going to make that much of an impact, and you're not really going to make any money. So having an economic engine really is a very, very important part. And that's the other course that we're doing right now is Online Marketing 101. And one of the key things that we found in order for you guys to be successful and really to build a business as a business rather than just, you know, oh, Elizabeth's here. Well, let's see, and Shari is finally with us. Yay. So, so for those of you just coming on, we're talking about how your economic engine is one of your three circles of prosperity. So your three circles so far are mindset, your service or your offering, which is really your treatment, how you treat your PMF treatments, and then your economic engine. So the point that I'm trying to make on the economic engine is the biggest thing that you guys can do, we found, that will help you right away, is to create a list. And when I ask, like, how many of you guys have a list that you, a customer list, a client list, a list where prospects you put all into one place that is digital, where you can correspond with people.
I'm going to open up the chat, and so everybody on the side can say, do you have a client list, like in a Google or Excel spreadsheet, right?
Yep. Oh, you can do that, honey?
Yeah. Like, yes.
All right. Okay, so if you guys have a list, just put a yes in the chat box. Now, how come I'm not seeing the chat box? Where the heck is the chat box? Ah, there it is. Chat.
I don't know. Maybe because I initiated it?
Yep. Nope. There it is. I just had to click on the button. So down at the button, you'll see down at the bottom of your screen, there's a little button that
you can
says,
click on participants.
Yep. And so click on chat, and then you'll see it. If you're not seeing it over on your right-hand side, so we're getting a bunch of no's. Becky's got one. Angela's got one.
Mm.
So what I think is what probably the best thing that you guys can do for this first week is, and we always like to have little action steps, because talking about this stuff is really is great, but until you put things into action, it's really not going to help your business. But the best thing that that you can do for you right now is create your list. And I have found that the Google tools are really the absolute best. And you can either create a list as an Excel spreadsheet, or you can go on to Google. Yes, yeah, Sherry's already drinking the wine. So how many of you guys, all right, in the chat box, how many of you guys have a glass of wine?
Me.
Leslie,
it's healthy wine.
Now that's the benefit of having it at 7 o'clock at night,
Yes. Okay, Becky, we gotta get.
Yeah, and the rest of you
guys. Hi, Elizabeth.
And the rest of you guys have
you guys gotta show yourselves.
The rest of you guys have your screen.
Everyone show themselves.
Not that way. By just turning your screen on, please. Not too much information.
Oh.
There's Angela. There's Teresa.
Hi. I have all my grandson's artwork behind me.
Yep, the 7-year-old.
Oh, hi, who's that? Teresa, who is that? Oh, my goodness. Okay, Becky.
All right, so, yeah, who's that? There's a nice dog there, Teresa. Everybody got their dog with them.
Teresa's.
My dogs are not here. So, honey, it's a little bit distracting with all the different people on there. It's like I've been really having a hard time focusing in on what I've been saying. So that there are a bunch of people here that we know, that there are a bunch of people here that we don't know. When in Jumpstart, what we would do is we would normally go around and we would have everybody tell their why for being in this course. I think we actually have probably too many people to do that, and it would take up the rest of the time. But I thought for you guys' benefit, it would really be a good thing for us to tell our why. And normally what happens is that I would start off and then Shari would jump in and she would start saying it. But Shari, why don't you start out and say our why for being on this course? And you know, our why has really changed over the years, over the last 4 or 5 years that we've been doing this. We first started really doing it as you know, a way for us to you know, it was much more focused in on us learning, and then as more and more people started asking us to teach them, it got more into the teaching part of it, and then it kind of evolved more into the equipment sales part of it. And as many of you know, we stopped selling equipment at the beginning about a year, you know, 6 months ago, maybe a little longer ago. What?
Well, officially, it was last August.
Last August, okay. I was thinking it was June, but yeah. So we kind of backed away from PEMF for quite a while and took some time off and kind of regrouped. But then we found out that the thing that we really enjoyed doing the most was helping train and support you practitioners in developing your business. And so we launched a whole new business called the Drugless Practitioner Academy. And there is something really loud going on. I think that's you, Henny. Is that in your background?
No.
Oh, wait a minute. It's Whitney. There we go. Yeah. That's better. Boy, it was like loud for a second. I don't know if you guys could hear that. So anyway, what I was talking about was how our why has really changed. So as we stepped away from selling equipment, we realized that we really liked helping practitioners find their way, start their own business, and grow their own business. And with that, we developed you know, some training programs. And the way that we developed our training programs was by really looking at what was successful for us, and then making those resources available to different practitioners. And as we started looking into the market, and this is when we were still not doing anything with PEMF, we started seeing a huge void in the PEMF market, and we started realizing that really we have so many assets that are in our computers, in our minds, that can help people like you. And so we decided to come back in and open up this PEMF training course. And in doing so, we came across a company called the American Association of Drugless Practitioners, the AADP. And we found out that we can actually certify you guys. And so what we realized was that that was one of the key things that we had always talked about as we were PEMF practitioners, of the need to have an independent, standardized training program for practitioners that would kind of be like a, you know, a quality assurance thing of, that's what we always tried to be with Life Pulses, that when someone was Life Pulse trained, you would always know that they had a certain level of training. And that level then would kind of guarantee that they at least knew the basics and knew how to do a protocol. So with the realization that we had you know, all this information, and there was really seemed to be a void out in the marketplace, and with the ability to get people certified, we actually started this course. And that really has been, you know, a big motivation for us and a big direction for us in starting the Drugless Practitioner Academy to try to help, PMF practitioners, but also all practitioners that are non-drug oriented to really be the best that they can be and to offer you guys a lot of support. So that was a little bit different way of us kind of coming at our why for doing this course. But honey, do you want to add anything on that?
Not really, other than a lot of people reached out to us saying, that they really, really missed and needed the help and support that we offered, and the wonderful positive community that we had created, and so we're kind of coming around again, trying to do that. And,
so one of the things that we would do in our jump starts is that we would really try to find out what it is that you folks are wanting out of this training. And if you'd like, we can unmute everybody. If it seems like everybody's kind of calmed down a little bit, we can unmute everybody and kind of go around the room. And if there are main things, for us, it would be really, really important to shape the course, number one, but number two, really to be able to show you guys what it is that you want. I know that that several of you have been through Jumpstart trainings, but then many of you have not. So really be curious to find out from you guys what your why is for taking this course and what you are really looking to accomplish. What are the things that you want to learn about and the things that you need help on? Is it getting the treatments? Is it more in the mindset? Is it more in the marketing? Last course when we did that, a lot of people wanted marketing help. So let's see if I can unmute everybody.
I'll be right back.
All right, I'm just going to have to do it individually, I guess. I did that pop-out thing. All right, I'm going to start unmuting.
Sorry, I had to let a dog in.
I'm unmuting you. Paula, you're unmuted. Leslie, you're unmuted. Angela, you're unmuted. Ethlyn, you're unmuted. Teresa, you're unmuted. Elizabeth, you're unmuted. Oh, there's a little delay. And Whitney, you're unmuted. I'm not even sure who this 132566
phone is.
Number is. All right, does anybody want to go first? Maybe
I
Teresa.
will.
Who said I will?
Becky.
All right, Becky. Becky, you can turn your camera on.
I'm on a desktop. I don't have a camera on this computer. Sorry.
All right. And you can call in too. So if you're out on the road and you just wanted to call in, you can do that and too on the invite. All right.
Yeah, I was really excited to be able to do this. Very much appreciate you guys, and I can say how much we missed you. I really counted on you to be able to call you when I had questions, and I had to call Sam one time in an emergency situation. But I'm really excited to be able to learn more about wound care and that sort of thing. But I also am not a great marketer of myself. I enjoy helping people, dogs, horses, of course, but I am not great at marketing myself. So I would like to learn how to do that without having to go crazy. If that makes any sense.
Yep, that does.
Like that packet, where'd it go?
We would love to help you, Becky.
Yeah, and we appreciate, we did start to hear about that from all kinds of different people. And so, that, I tell you, that really, it does mean a lot. It really helps a lot. And, it was a big reason that we hung on with Life Pulse for as long as we did, because we really felt this obligation to the practitioners and just absolutely loved supporting the practitioners. So, it's a big reason why we're back.
Our family.
Yeah, it's so funny. Everybody talks about our family, how we're, part of the family and stuff. And it's not really something that we like consciously try to do, but that's really a kind of a thing from Shari, because Shari really is a great way of creating family and creating that feeling of being a part of the family. So she does that for our real family and our extended family. So.
And that is true. You very much made us all feel like family, and that we could count on you and you would be there to help us. And so when you were gone, it was like, oh my God, what are we going to do?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, we really felt that, and that was why, like John said, we hung on as long as we could to try and find a way to make things work, but it just wasn't meant to be. So this is our way now of coming back and offering what we can in the best way that we know how. Because it was funny, Sam and I were spent the whole afternoon going through the old PEMF manual that we had originally created under the auspices of manufacturer, and what we had to say and all this, and really wanting it to create it with what we know as practitioners and experienced people. And we just realized, my God, we have so much to share. It's so we're just really happy to be able to share it with you guys again. And
yeah, now
we're
and a good example of that is, if you has everybody had a chance to go into the portal? And does everybody know what the portal is? There is a website that when you signed up, you should have gotten an email that says, hey, here's your link to the portal, and here's this crazy little password.
Yes.
And if you click on the link and then cut and paste the password in there, get access into that portal. That's something you guys are going to have access to for a whole year. And you'll be able to watch like these replays, and then go into the portal, as well as the last course's replays are in there, and all of the specific segments that we taped. But also we have a whole bonus section in there that is really incredible. It's got brochures. It's got all this stuff that we collected as practitioners that we're really making available to you. It's got marketing information in there. It's got
hello.
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 It's got all kinds of great information in there, and you guys should just take some time and go through there and go through the bonus section. That's a nice foot you got there. See, if this was live, I'd be grabbing her foot.
I remember you put her to sleep at the last jump start that Leslie came to.
I know, but she was just like this big, she was just a little one.
Yeah, she is really grown.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. I can't believe how much time has gone by. So Jolene said that she wanted to join because she's new to PEMF, but she wanted to learn as much as she can, and we were highly recommended. Yeah, so Jolene, this is going to be a way for you to really get a ton of both PEMF information and becoming a practitioner information. So.
Well, and another part of it is that we've heard that the protocol that John created, which has gotten such amazing results, has basically been decimated. And we really, for the practitioners who have been using it, they know how powerful it is, and we really want to keep that alive, intact, for those who want access to it. Right, John?
Yep. Honey, how do people raise their hand again?
I don't know. Oh, raise hand. It says raise hand. Yeah. See, you raise your little hand if you want to.
Oh, yep.
Talk. I'm a pushover. Can you fix that?
See,
yeah, just listen to John. Yes, John can help you fix that.
I'm a pushover.
You can't see that on your side?
I don't have a hand raising capability. I don't believe. No.
Because you're the host. So you wouldn't need to raise your hand because you're talking.
If you go and click on
But the rest of us who aren't can raise our hand.
Can you hear me?
All right, Paula. Paula wants to raise her hand.
Paula.
Yay!
Oh, hi, Elizabeth.
I'm trying to get back.
And Elizabeth's back. All right, Paula, you raised your hand. Do you want to talk?
Yes. So I purchased the EQX1 in October of last year. And other than it feels like a bazillion pounds, I absolutely love it. Chose it because it has the dual ports for treating more than one area at a time.
You purchased the double X?
Yeah. No, it's the X1.
The X1, okay.
It's over there. Let's see. Let's see. That one.
Ah.
Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So after I got over the initial, oh my God, I've got this thing attached to a horse and he's not happy and all this money is going to run out the door. Not a lot of training from the company, a 20-minute video. I went through all the human ones and then one video for the horse, and then they kind of kick you out the door and go, okay, you're ready. I'm not ready. So here I am. Perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
We're so glad you're here, Paula. Really glad you're here.
Yeah, and that's exactly why we really got back into it, because you're not ready, and really there is so much more that you need in order to feel comfortable, doing treatments. Mm-hmm. And so next week,
should we share our first story?
What?
John, should we share our first story?
Yeah.
Should we share our first story?
Yeah. Go ahead. This is how we started.
So this is how we started. So some of you guys have heard this that have been, but for those of you who haven't, I literally heard about PEMF from someone who told me that there was a lady who did so much PEMF, that she did PEMF on horses, and she did so much that it made her a crazy person, that it literally fried her brain and made her a crazy person. And I was like, really? Wow, this is really interesting. What is about? Then I heard that somebody else was doing this for a living. And so I was like, wow, what is this? So I started researching this. And the more I researched it, I didn't find anything bad. I didn't find anything about anybody becoming a crazy person and all this stuff. And I'm like, and I kept saying to John, this is really interesting. This is really amazing. Look at this, look at this, look at this. And so after 6 months of researching and us thinking, wow, our daughter was a competitive rider. We had bred horses for years. I thought, wouldn't this be cool to be able to go to horse shows and do PMF sections and like pay for Sam's showing and like help people and animals and stuff, and it sounded really cool. So at the time, the only system, of course, that was out there was the MagnaWave. And so we bit the bullet and paid, I don't know how much money for this MagnaWave, and got an email that, oh yeah, you can get certified to use this MagnaWave. And so we went online, and there was literally like, I don't know 20 questions or something like this, literally an open book test, like an open book test. We hadn't even received our system. And Sam and John and I all did this open book test, and we were certified. It was like, wow, okay. The thing came in the mail. I'll never forget it. It was in March. It was March, like 6 years ago. And we pulled it out of the box. There was no directions. There was nothing. It was just this system in the box. And we pulled it out and opened it up and put the thing in. And John goes, hey, here, Shari, let me try this on you. Turns it up full blast, put that loop on my spine, and hurt me so bad I shot about 10 feet and screamed and started crying and said, oh my God, we have made a terrible mistake. What did we do? We don't know what the heck we're doing. What did we do? I mean, this was our, we had never even seen a PMF system out in the world. We literally just bought this based on my research and my belief, and I don't know. And
it was on full blast. I'm like, here, try this. Boom. She's like,
and if anybody has ever done that, it is like you're getting a lightning bolt. Like I can remember it so clearly, shooting across the room, really started crying. And I'm like, you got to call that Pat guy. Well, this is ridiculous. You got to call, they got to tell us what to do. We don't know what to do. There's no information here. And John called up Pat and he goes, go, what are you worried about? Go treat 50 horses and you'll figure it out. And we were like,
no, his exact words are, go treat 50 horses. You'll get the hang of it. I'm like,
yeah. It took me a long time to get out there.
That was it. But we had made a commitment, and we're just the kind of people, there's a saying, that if there's a locked door and you go up and you don't have the key, 9 out of 10 people will walk away. We're that 1 out of 10 that'll walk behind the building and say, there's got to be another way in, and that's really how our journey started. We were like, wait a minute, there's too much good out there. There's too much research. There's too much good out there, and so it through a lot of determination and a bunch of luck, and John figuring out how to heal his own 30-year chronic back pain, and us experimenting on our daughter's horse and saying, wow, sometimes we get results, sometimes we don't. And then John just being like amazing and just researching and experimenting and taking this to a whole new level. We were able to figure this out. And that was our goal, was like to really create this in such a way that other people could get consistent results. And then after we figured it all out, John went to Pat and said, hey, we figured this out. This is amazing. And his response was, training? I'm not interested in training. That slows down sales. We're not interested. So it's all come a long way in those years, but I don't know.
Yeah,
a few steps backwards, certainly.
We actually found out before we really started our protocol, we found the common wisdom was that you just moved the coil around. You just kept moving it around. And you know, you'd hold it for a little while and
And
then,
that you could never pulse more than 10 minutes.
yeah,
You could never do PEMF more than 10 minutes.
yeah, if you did more than 10 minutes, oh yeah,
Yeah.
something was going to happen.
Not that anybody said what was going to happen.
So
But that you couldn't do it more
actually,
than 10 minutes.
so I actually started treating myself because I had a really bad back. And as I treated myself, I started realizing, you know, something happens for a while. For a while, it's like pulsing. It's a really, really kind of hurts. It's really agitating. It's like, and then all of a sudden it just kind of fades away. And I noticed, wow, when I wait long enough, well, actually really what's happening is that as I was pulsing, I was doing this at night and I like to read. So I was reading a book and I would read a couple of pages and I would notice as I get through a couple of pages, like, hey, the pulsing kind of really diminished. Like, what happened? So I started watching that, like, when is that going to happen? Is it going to happen at a specific time every time? And the more that I did it, the more I started realizing, you know, this happens like right around 90 seconds. And then I started treating horses and I started realizing, you know, right around 90 seconds, they start licking and chewing. They started having this release. And I'm like, oh, that. So I really started then saying, okay, well, we need to time this. This needs to be a more of a timed event rather than just keep moving it around. And because literally the protocol was you just wave the magic wand and, you know, it's pulsing here, it's pulsing here, it's pulsing here. You just keep moving it around. And then okay, that's $100.
At a really high intensity, that got to have a chain over the horse's nose to make them stand there.
Yeah, some people at a high intensity, some people at a really low intensity. You know, that was another real variable that was not. So my thought was that if you have a random treatment protocol, a random pattern, and you have a random amount of pulsing, and you have a random amount of time, you're going to get random results. And the only way to kind of get back into standardizing and getting more consistent results was to have a more consistent treatment. And so I did research on what are the main muscle groups that horses use when they are working. And that's how we came up with, I think there originally was 8. And now we're up to 12 main muscle groups. And then we found out that, you know, really you need to stay on those specific areas for 2 minutes. And that 2 minutes allows you to find the area, stay on that, and then stay there until they get the release. Now, sometimes it doesn't happen in the 2 minutes. Sometimes you have to go more. But that's like the minimum time. And the analogy that we always like to use is that when you're charging your phone, you know, you don't go and put your phone, you know, in the charger and then take it out, take it in, take it out, take it in, take it out. You just put it in, keep it in until it's fully charged. And that's exactly what you're doing with when you're pulsing, is that you are recharging cells. And at the cellular level, you're recharging the cells and returning them back to the natural state. And the way that you do that is by staying on them until they become fully charged. So that was like the birth of the whole treatment protocol. And then as I started using that treatment protocol, I started getting other people coming to me and saying, hey, can you teach me how to do that? Because other people were saying like you know, oh, and in fact, I had this one lady, she was a chiropractor from Boston that was up in that we were down in Wellington, and she called me and said, "Can I come?" She was a
veterinarian. She was a veterinarian who said she had a MagnaWave for years and had no idea what to do with it.
Yeah, and had no idea what to do with that, but saw that I was getting these results and was talking to my clients, and they were saying, "Yeah, he's getting results that nobody else is getting." She says, "I want to know how you do that." So I started showing her, and then actually a little before that, I think Jody Ness called me up and said, "Hey, can I come and just hang with you for a weekend and you show me what to do? Because I have this machine, I have no idea what to do with it." And that's what that's kind of started the whole training thing. But other than that, before that, I was perfectly happy just pulsing horses. And,
Yeah.
and then as we started training more people started buying machines, and I went downhill from there. So, but anyway, Paul, that was good feedback on you from your perspective. Elizabeth,
And we want to help you however we can.
yes. And
Yeah.
you're gonna learn a lot. You're gonna learn a lot, not only how to pulse, but also how to be a practitioner too.
Good.
So
Yeah,
That's why I'm
and
here.
I think that
Anybody
the
else
other
can-
people that have gone through with us can help with that, can
Okay.
assure you of that too.
Anybody else want to say why they're doing it? Elizabeth, you've been in this a little bit.
I'm just back for more. I was here last time and I wanted more.
And we're happy to have you.
We love you, Elizabeth. We love you.
It's not the same without y'all, that's for sure.
That's great. That's great. All right, and I've been losing track of
Evelyn, show yourself.
Yeah, Ethelyn, how are you doing?
I'm good. At the very beginning, it said to allow access for the camera, and I clicked no. So now I can't add the camera until I get off of this.
You might be able to, down at the bottom.
Down at the bottom, it says stop video and start video.
Yeah, it says I have to go to my settings. So y'all can see me next week.
All right. We're happy to have you here, though. We're so proud of you.
Thank you.
Evelyn has done
I'm happy to be
amazing.
here.
Who is 132-566-87972?
I don't know who that is.
That's me, Whitney Hicks. I'm driving, so my webinar camera, the microphone on it, you're really cut it out. So I called in on my phone because I have better service,
Okay.
so I can hear you and sometimes see you pixelated.
Okay, good. Good.
Welcome, Whitney.
Thank you.
Pleasure to get to meet you.
And where are you driving to?
I am driving back to Texas from Florida.
Oh, that's a long
Oh,
drive.
wow.
Yeah, we've been on the road for about a week now.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
That's great. What kind of riding do you do?
we just drove.
I ride cutting horses, and then my partner, he rides a saddle bronc. So he's PRCA and I'm NCHA.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, wow.
Saddle broncs. Oh, that'd be exciting. We got into the whole who is that bucking bull guy that we did? I can't believe I can't remember his name. Sherry, who is the
Stetson Lawrence.
Yeah, Stetson Lawrence. Do you guys know Stetson Lawrence? And
Stetson Lawrence, yeah, we were the ones who started it all with the whole PBR, and that was wow. That was a wow. But I guess they're continuing. I guess that's going on. So
hey, there's Whitney.
So hey, Whitney, hey.
I got it to work. Yeah, no, we didn't.
That's great.
That's for PBR and we're PRCA.
Yeah, you're
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So
actually,
you need it for people and horses then.
Yes, exactly. So I guess that would be our why. It's why we're involved in this class. We're wanting to make sure we have our T's crossed and our I's dotted before we really hit the PRCA world and cutting world with this to make an impact.
Yeah.
So especially in the PRCA, it's not a big deal in the bucking stock.
well, have you, since you're on the road, one of the things that I love the most when I'm driving is to use, I don't know if you have a square pad, but to put the old square pad right behind my back or sitting on it and just pulse while I'm driving Do you have that thing hooked up while you're driving?
I don't, but we've been contemplating is it doable with a adapter in the car? So that's pretty on topic.
Yes, it totally is. And you will not believe how much it helps. You know, when you're driving, you get so road weary and everything, and you get out and you're like, oh, stiff and everything. At least I am. Well, yeah, we started putting that in the RV in our truck. My Ford truck actually has a plug, so you can just plug it right in. Yeah, the square pad works miracles for that. You just put it on your back and on your upper back, and then sit on it.
Start at the shoulders.
Yeah, for like
start
hours.
At the shoulders and work your way down and work your way up.
For like hours at a time, and it will help you so much. You'll get out going like, you just can't believe how much better you feel after pulsing for a couple hours.
Right. Cool. Well, glad now we know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I went through a whole thing when we got involved with Stetson Lawrence and the PBR. I got an opportunity to go out and pulse some bulls out in Missouri that were right before the PBR finals. And so I took some time and did a lot of studying and a lot of in the field treating of bucking bulls. But what I found, so if you're kind of in that market, I'm telling you, there is a major benefit for bulls to get pulsed, because where they get cinched up, they get really sore, and up along their back, that gets really sore. And if you pulse their back, you would not believe how much looser they get. And man, can they buck like crazy. You'll see some bulls will kind of lose their buck, and they'll kind of get sour and they get stiff. And you can go and start pulsing them. And really, if you pulse them 3 times over 3 days, you will their back will loosen up, and their buck comes back. They like go out and be bucking out in the pasture, and the owners will be like amazed. But it's also true for those bucking horses, because they are, if you think about it, the bucking horse and the jumping horse really is not that different. So one of the biggest things that a bucking horse really gets sore on is their psoas muscle. Their psoas and their abdominal muscles. So you know what a psoas muscle is?
Yes, sir.
So
Ethelyn's my mentor.
Ethelyn's your mentor?
So Ethelyn knows about the psoas muscle, because that was teacher.
Yeah.
Really, when John made that discovery about the psoas muscle in horses, that was such a huge game changer in the results we were getting. It was almost phenomenal. And it's understanding that's been removed from protocol. I can't believe it, because so often what people think of is a horse with a sore back, or a person with a sore back, or a bull, or whatever. It's the psoas, and I will let John explain why.
Yeah,
but you'll probably already know if Ethelyn's your mentor.
The way that I actually came about it was I was down in Florida, in Wellington, and I was treating these Grand Prix dressage horses, and there was a guy down there that did this myofascial release. And I don't, if you don't know what that is, it's crazy, but they literally grab a hold of the muscle, and then they start pulling at it until the muscle releases, and then the muscle, then they have this release. So they're pulling on it, and then it releases, and it's like, oh. And this guy was reaching in behind the rib cage of this one horse and pulling on this thing, and this horse was like not appreciating it at all. And I'm looking at it going like, oh man, that can't be very comfortable for that horse. But then I treated the horse, and then the next day he was like, wow, this horse's psoas muscle is so much different. And so we started talking about it. I'm like, now what are you reaching in behind the rib cage and pulling on, you know? And he started telling me about the psoas muscle. So we did a series of experiments of treating it and then pulling on it and then pulling on it and then treating it. And we found that the PEMF, if you did that before, that muscle would just release right away. And together, the two of us, we basically completely changed this one horse's gait, because it was, I mean, it was, it was for a dressage horse. They need to be long and fluid and really reaching under themselves. And this horse was walking like a racehorse, all stick-legged and everything. And the trainer on this, after we got done experimenting and everything, he came back and cornered us. He's like, whatever you guys did, you got to keep doing. And that was when the light bulb went off on the psoas muscle. And from there, I really started experimenting. The problem with doing the psoas, and this is why they probably have stopped doing it, is because if a horse has a really sore psoas muscle, you put that loop down there and it starts pulsing and it's like really bouncing around, and you're thinking, oh my God, this horse is going to be really uncomfortable. It's going to kick me. It's not going to like this. But the reality of it is that's where they really need it. So you just have to turn it down, make it more tolerable, and then go through it so that it doesn't pulse all like that. And that's when you know you.
And it's
so when you're doing it, it feels.
What did you
like,
say, John?
Well, when you're doing it, if they really need it, it really feels like, oh my God, this is going to be hurting this horse. So I can see from a non-horse person, which is what those guys are, they're probably thinking, yeah, this can't be good. But really, it's the best. That's when you really know they need it. That's like when you're pulsing up around their head and they're raising their head a lot, and you're like, okay, yeah, this horse really needs it. So that was the birth of the.
But what did you say, John? I just wanted to speak. It's one of the places where you see almost the most immediate dramatic differences.
Yeah. So
Like,
and it doesn't
right?
matter what discipline you're in.
Minutes.
Yeah. Bucking horses, reining horses. Reining horses all do that sliding stop. They pull their legs underneath them. That they really need it too. Jumping horses, though, if you do a slow motion picture of a jumping horse right before they take off, they look at almost the exact same body position as a reining horse in a sliding stop. Their rear legs are right under them and they're just about to take off. If you look at a racehorse in slow motion and you stop it right in the time where their rear legs are way under them, any good performance horse has their rear legs come way under them if they're good. And if you look at a bucking horse, before he lets off a big buck, he brings his rear legs way under him, and then he bucks and he extends his legs way out. If you have a sore psoas muscle or abdominal muscle, you can't extend your leg out. So they'll start short bucking. And when you see a horse doing that, or when you see a horse can't hold its lead on a canter in a tight circle, like they can't get their rear leg under them, when you see a horse doing that, you know it's the psoas muscle. Or when they start fading off to one side, then you know it's the hamstring. So there's all these little things that I would go and watch in performance, and then go back and treat the horse and start saying, oh, there's a cause and effect between the way that they're moving and the way that they feel. And if you can start, and we're going to take you through all this, but if you can start to see the effects that the sore muscles have when they're out there, and then go back and treat them, you can see that, yep, this muscle is definitely sore. And then what we do is we have a scoring system and say, okay, well, from 1 to 10, where is this horse? And then as you treat it, you can see that the score starts to come down as their muscles start to heal. And as you can communicate that to their owners, they'll see as the scores start to come down, their performance starts to improve. So when you can make that link, when you can make that cause and effect link, business will just flow, because people know, hey, this person really knows what they're doing. They know how to get results. And that's the key.
Not everyone can do it, but John has literally sat at the side of a Grand Prix and watched how a horse has gone and then gone and approached the trainer, owner, rider afterwards and said, I saw blah, 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 and I think I can help. I mean, John, do you want to touch on that a little bit? I mean, that's kind of one of the ways we really started a lot of business.
Yeah, actually, one of my very first clients was Wendy. What was her name? Gosh, she turned out to be such a bitch. Wendy
Arndt.
Yeah, but I saw this beautiful horse going, and the horse was like you could tell could just jump the moon. But every time it would go to an in or out, then the second jump and an in and out, it would knock down the fences. Like it couldn't get its front end out of the way to save its life. And the way that it was moving, it was just moving really stiff in the front. And so this beautiful horse in the welcome class, which is if you're not familiar with jumpers, and you guys are Western people, so you wouldn't be, but during the week, they have a big class in the middle of the week to get people ready for the big class at the end of the week. Well, I watched the welcome class, which was in the middle of the week, and I watched this big black horse, and I saw like this horse is knocking all the rails down with its front end. It has sore shoulders. So I went, and as the horse is coming out of the class after like knocking down 4 rails, which is not good, I went up to her and go, I know why your horse knocked all those rails down. I think I can help you. She looked at me and she's like, what the hell are you talking about? I don't want to talk to you. Are you trying to sell me something? Get the hell out of here. I'm like, fine. I don't care, but I can help your horse. If you don't want your help, then I don't need you. And I turned around and started walking away. And she's like, stopped and was like, hey, well, wait a minute. Well, what are you talking about? So I went back. I said, look, I don't even want any money. I'll do this for free. But I think your horse has sore shoulders. And she's like, yeah, probably. That's what we were thinking too. It's like, so I went back, treated her horses, and sure enough, her horse had tremendously sore shoulders. And the next class, she did much better. And so then I thought, well, this is kind of a hard way to get business, but it works. And there's, I don't know if you guys know of a guy named McLean Ward. He's like maybe one of the top 1, 2, or 3 show jumpers in the world. And we were at this show where we were supposed to be meeting Margie Engel to do her sponsorship, but she didn't show up. So we're sitting there watching the Grand Prix out on the lawn, and this beautiful horse, Adele, he was riding, kept swapping out in her rear lead changes as she would go around. She'd go around a tight corner, and she would slop out her rear lead change. And I'm like, that horse has a really sore psoas. And so the course, the class ended, and the horse did terribly. And I went up to him and I said, actually, I was treating one of his best friends, Jimmy Turano, and the guy's like, what are you guys doing here? What is this stuff? I don't believe in any of this stuff. And Jimmy Turano was like, he had a really bad hip, and I was treating his hip, and it really helped him. And he said, yeah, McLean, this actually really helps. And I said, your horse Adele has really sore psoas muscles. I think I can help that. So he was kind of like, he didn't really believe me, but he was like, oh, what the hell? If Jimmy says he's okay, then go ahead and give it a try. So I treated his horse, and sure enough, had really horribly sore psoas muscles. And I treated it twice at that show, and then I treated it again at Devon, which is another big show, the next show. And the horse went in, and the first jump that it went over, it was an oxer that was a real tall oxer, and the horse literally skied over the standards so far over that jump that almost threw him off. I remember standing by the side of the thing, watching this horse go over, and he was like, oh my God. And so like almost came off, but he ended up winning that class, and the horse didn't just skied and did so well. So it just showed that if you can see something in a horse and you go up and talk to those people, and then you the proof is always when you do the treatment and you start treating them, and then you can see the soreness there. And then you're like, okay, yeah, this is really true. But the magic is when you can equate the performance with the soreness and then communicate that to the owner. You then, really have a powerful way to have a business. So anyway, that's just a little bit of the little stories that we had. So, and these were all, when we started out, we were practitioners. I mean, we didn't sell any machines. We were practitioners. We were going from show to show. Our daughter was showing. We were going, and I was walking around. At the time, I was selling Xerox machines and doing this on the weekends and when I could. And after a while, this one lady came up to me and said we left our machine in the barn that Sam was working at, and this lady, who was this crotchety old lady named Martha Love, started using the machine on herself. And after about 2 weeks, I walked into the barn and she comes up to me, "Hey, John, come here. And I'm like, oh God, great. What's this lady going to say to me? I'm thinking she's going to complain about something or something. She goes, I just wanted to say thank you for leaving this machine here, because I've been using it and it has given me my life back." And I was like, wow, that's incredible. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, yeah, since I've been treating this, like before I couldn't garden, I couldn't ride, I was sore all the time, I was miserable. And said, now I've been treating myself for the last 2 weeks. It's like, I feel so much better. She says, I can do all those things again. It's like, I really, I thank you that you have given me my life back. And I started thinking about it, and I'm like, nobody has ever told me that. Nobody has ever thanked me and that I've given them my life back for selling them a copier. And I said, I think I got to do a lot more of this. And so that's when the light went on, and I said, I'm going to start doing this more full time. And within 6 months after buying our machine, I quit Xerox and started doing this full time. And the Xerox.
And he was, well, Xerox. You have to say, John was the #1 salesman in North America for Xerox for 2 years in a row. So
yeah, so it was a good job. So, but you know what? We have always done better than we did at Xerox, and we've always had a lot more fun, and it's been so much more rewarding to do the PMF thing.
Well, I think the thing that we're really, today is just kind of an introduction thing, and we're going to go into so much more. And I'm so happy to see some of you that are from our family that we were before, and it's so happy to see the new people that are here, because this really turned into such a dream for us. But it all started out with an intention. And that's what I think John touched on a little bit when we first started, and I was feeding Sam and I wasn't here. But if there is anything that I want you to get out of tonight, is the power of your intention. Truly and completely and wholeheartedly and with every inch of my being, I feel like the power of your intention is the greatest tool for your business. It's almost more powerful than PEMF, because what the power of your intention does is it harnesses the power of the universe. And what John doesn't tell you is that years before he was selling Xerox, and those of you who have been to our Jumpstart have heard this story before, but we were very successful real estate developers in Wisconsin, on the brink of many, many, many amazing things when the whole real estate crash happened, and found ourselves having a very different experience than we ever imagined. And but we always wanted to live in North Carolina, and so what, honey?
Like no money?
What?
Yeah,
like no money. Yeah. And So we literally, moved to North Carolina and arrived on July 12th, 2009 with how much money, Henny? $32 in our pocket. Mhm. And at the time, we had a major horse breeding operation going on. We owned like 37 horses, and we really had life going on. And we were building a Marriott hotel, and like everything you dream of. And it all went away. John ended up trailering our horses to North Carolina, 4 horses at a time. Sometimes you fit a few more in there, the young ones. From Wisconsin to North Carolina, and we started our life over, and had to go through all kinds of things that you can't even imagine, and ended up having success again with John working at Xerox, but now being in a corporate world that we never wanted to be in. And the story is, he won a trip to Atlantis in the Bahamas. And if you ever you are gamblers and you like that, that's really awesome, but we aren't. And Atlantis in the Bahamas was nothing we ever wanted to be or imagined. And while they paid for our room and our flight, they didn't pay for our food. And it was literally like $72 for breakfast. And the bass music would start playing at 9 a.m. outside our door. And to get to the beach, we had to go through the casino, and it was smoky and everything. And we looked at each other and said, wow, this is not what we want. This is not the experience we want. And we had just completed reading a book called Wishes Fulfilled by Wayne Dyer, which I really suggest to everyone. And we sat in our hotel room and said, what do we want our life to be like? What do we want? And we sat with a notebook all day long and wrote down all different things. And at the end of the day, came up with an idea that we want a positive, simple, happy, extremely successful business, helping people and animals, working together based from a horse farm that we owned and loved in Tryon, North Carolina, using our own unique talents and abilities to somehow make a difference in the world. And I share that with you guys because at the time, we had never even heard of PEMF. We didn't even know there was such a thing. And within 6 months, I heard that crazy story about that woman going crazy with PEMF, and spent another 6 months researching it and bought a system, and 6 months later launched a business that now, all these years later, despite numerous heartbreaks, has turned out to be the passion and purpose of our life. Ended up healing John's chronic back pain of 30 years. And just this past week, healed my little grandson's kitten that literally was on death's door, that today I took home to Oliver walking and is fine. So the reason I share that with you all, and I know some of you have heard it before, is to just share with you the power of your intention. And for those of you that are worried and concerned of how am I going to get enough business and how am I going to do this, that even after we took the big leap and we faced it, we came up with another little prayer that was, thank God for bringing to us the people that want, need, can easily afford, and will be dramatically helped by our PEMF therapy. And every time we said that, we would just be amazed. We'd just be amazed. So, we believe in all of you. We believe in this crazy thing called PEMF. And it is a crazy thing that some people are willing to take a chance on, and other people look at you like you have 2 heads and you're crazy. And to those people we say, okay, next. But if you could leave today, really think about your intention. Just what is your intention? And your intention can be our other crazy thing that we wrote on the bathroom mirror the first time we went to WEG, which was, we have a lot of money, we have a lot of fun, and we help a lot of people and animals. And your intention could be something entirely different. It doesn't matter. But if you could just leave here today, and maybe next week when we all gather, we could share our intentions. And all do really, really great things together, because we have an incredible opportunity. We have an incredible opportunity to live the lives that we want and really, really, really help a lot of animals. It's amazing. It is really, really amazing. And those of you who have been doing this with us for a year or two, Leslie, we haven't heard from you yet, can share with that some of the miracles that we've all experienced. And what a profound, unbelievable opportunity it is to not only do something that you love and can make money at, but that can really and truly, and I'm getting teary because I cry at Hallmark commercials, but can really make a difference in lives. This has been a really difficult year for us this last year, trying to figure out what the hell has happened and how do we find our way through this all. But whatever way we can help, whatever experience we've had that we can share with you guys and help us all learn together. And we have a lot of really cool stuff, even more since we've all gotten together before. We're just really excited to do that. So tonight, when this is all done, just sit down and think, close your eyes and place your hands on your heart and just think, what's really my intention for all this, you know? And let's all, by the end of these 8 weeks, see how close we are to getting close to some of those intentions, you know? I know we've discussed that with you before, Elizabeth. Have you lived any of those intentions? And Becky and Ethelyn and Leslie, we've kind of gone down this path and heard some of our stories before. It's all good, you know. We all want to make money and have good lives, but it's an amazing thing to really be able to make a difference too. So, Elizabeth, do you have something to share? I get off my soapbox. So.
I think after the first 8 weeks, there were a lot of things that I took away and have been able to put into practice, and I've noticed my business. I ultimately am now able to pay all my vet bills, which have been astronomical lately.
Huge.
Having to call my mom, and am actually able to take care of my barn owner now, because my horse has a dispensary. So I'm now paying even more for him, and I feel like after the last 8 weeks, I was so empowered, and there were just so many things that I never thought of. And after y'all left, it was definitely, I kind of hit rock bottom with the company, very upset, and then just waiting for y'all to come back. So it was definitely a breath of fresh air to know that we have y'all back.
That's
Thank
great.
you, Elizabeth.
Yeah. Well, and you know what we're really trying to do is we're trying to share with you guys what helped us. And anytime you guys can see things that really help you, you should let us know, because it makes a big difference when we get feedback and when we realize, hey, these are things that, you know, are helping people and that we need to either put some more emphasis on or expand, or things that aren't so good and we want to get rid of. And, you know, that actually is kind of the beauty of this whole course. And this is the actual foundation of our dream for the Drugless Practitioner Academy, is that together we can all come together and keep building on each other's progress. Because before we really started doing any kind of formalized training, everybody was starting from nothing. You know, when everybody got their machine, just like Polly, you know, oh, I got my machine, I have no idea what to do. And it would take so long before you finally figured it out, but there was no way for everybody to share it. And now what we've been able to do is that we've been able to get all this information. And in our portal, now we have a place to put all this information so that we can all collectively start at a much higher level and then keep growing from there. So I don't know if if Tracy Pollard is going to be on the call, but she told me a great saying that oh gosh, I'm going to think of it. I'm going to mess it up. I think I'm going to say it as well as she said it. But
Something to do with a wave. Wasn't it
no,
something to do with a wave?
well, that was what I was thinking. Yeah, as no, I can't really think of it. You know, as the tide comes in, it rises all boats. But what she was saying is that together we are a lot smarter than we are individually. And that is so true, because if we're all put our minds together, and if we all, like I think two of the breakthroughs that we had in the first session was bringing on these people that were real specialists in their field. Christina Cooper in wounds, and Kelly Ligarata in treating dogs. And, you know, here, these are two things that we didn't really know that much about, but they were just doing fabulously with them. So we dedicated 2 whole weeks to those 2 people. And I learned a ton. And I know everybody else, you know, did as well. And they also came and brought a lot more to the table besides just their specialties. I mean, Kelly had some great mindset things that she did, and Christina's attitude and her personal testimonial of persevering through really horrible back pains. Like, oh my God, it was way worse than mine. But the way that she persevered and had a personal testimonial that, you know, that everybody can use. I mean, everybody can use the testimonial that she had, because one of the major things that these vets keep saying is that PEMF damages nerves. And she absolutely proved that her nerves were regenerated. And so just that one little thing alone really completely changes the picture for PEMF. It completely changes it, because now you will have a firsthand experience of talking to someone that regenerated nerves that she paid $10,000 to, you know, I don't know what you do with deaden the nerves.
Yep.
And after using PEMF, they regenerated. So it's just like little myths like that the vets and the establishment puts out there that are not true. Our little kitty, you know, he had nerve damage, and after a week of sitting on the chair for hours at a time, he made significant progress. And nerves take a long time to heal on their own. I mean, if they ever do. And so just that one thing, that one little thing, you can take and add that to your arsenal of treatments and really make a big difference in people's lives. So now one of the things that I'm getting these questions as I'm looking through the chats and stuff. Teresa asked if when I was talking to those riders and stuff, if I was doing that for free, when I would go up to them and tell them that their horses were sore and that I could help them. In the beginning, when I was struggling, when I was trying to not only show them that it worked, but to try to show me that it worked, I would offer to do them for free. After doing it a little while, I stopped doing it for free. My thought was, and you know, really when you get busy, a lot, your confidence takes a big boost when your schedule fills up and you don't have to start giving it away for free. But you know, kind of an interesting thing about intentions, and you'll see that like I'm a real big person on the law of attraction and all that. I have now come to learn that there are actually 3 spiritual laws. One of the laws that doesn't get talked about that much is the law of giving and receiving, or the law of reciprocity. And that law says that what you give, you also get back in return. And what we would do when we were at horse shows and we were sitting there with no customers coming in is that we would start giving treatments away. And we would tell people that we would, they're walking by limping and like, hey, you should try this out, come and try it for free. And you give a few free treatments and stuff like that. And then pretty soon business would just start to flow in. I don't know what it was, but now I know it's the law of reciprocity says, as you give it, you'll get it back. And, it was one of those funny things that we would do when we would go to a show. In the beginning of the shows, we were really slow, so we would just give away a few free treatments, and by the end of the week, we were slammed. So we haven't really heard from many other you guys about why you're coming here, and if you have something that you want to share, we would love to hear it. And as we go through the 8 weeks, we love to hear your feedback, positive and negative. If things you think that we can change, or things that you would like to see. That was one of the great things about the 3-day jump starts that we would have. Is the last day we would be like, okay, what do you guys need? What do you need in order to leave here and feeling confident? And every group was different, and I think this group is going to be very different from the first group. So. What is it that you guys...
Hi, Angela. Hey, I just wanted to pop in. I've been a business owner for 13 years, and I don't know where everybody's at on that. And I'm not discounting, John, what you said about giving and you'll get back. But if you are a new business owner, I talk to a lot of business owners who really set their prices too low in the beginning and then have trouble raising them. So know your market value. Advertise your market value, and then if you're going to give it or discount it, make sure people understand it's a sale, or make sure people understand it's a discount. Don't start charging $40 an hour and then expect to build a business and then jump to 80 an hour or 120 an hour. Make up a flyer and say it's 120 an hour and I'm running a special right now for 60. So just food for thought.
Absolutely.
I've done it that way.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah to that. Absolutely.
You're going to lose people when you start charging your market price. So know what you charge and advertise that, and only that, and everything else is discounted from there.
Yeah, because people love to get a deal.
Yep.
Yeah. And and I actually think that especially when you're just starting out, it's way easier to say somebody, hey, I want to show you how great this is. Normally I charge $100 for this.
Yep.
But this one time I'm going to show you how great it is. And so you put your price out there, and there's kind of an established price that people go with. For us, it's $100 for a horse treatment and $50 for 30 minutes for people or pets. For half hour, $50, $60. And then you if you're going to do packages, that's the best way to really discount something. But if you're going to give something away, you should be getting something back. And the law of reciprocity does say you do get stuff back. So yeah, but we were a big believer always in packages, and that the way to if you're going to discount it, make sure you do the quantity discount.
My other suggestion is do market research of who's in your area. Go on the Pulse Center map and find out who's in your area, and do some calling around and find out what their going rate is. Because when I first got my machine, and I've had it less than a year, I came in at the going market rate, and there was like 3 machines in my area. Now there's 9. Somebody came in and undercut the market by almost 50%. Have some professional courtesy for the people who are already doing it around you. Don't come in and undercut them. Because
well, I have to say that is what we used to have, and I don't mean to speak over you, but we used to have our wonderful Pulse Equine group, and we held the bar, and we encouraged each other, and we made people realize that when you cut price, to get business from someone else,
Yeah.
you're devaluing yourself. You're devaluing not only the service, you're devaluing yourself, and you're devaluing the entire industry. That we all have a very big responsibility to one another and the industry. And unfortunately, that's not being, there's no one, I don't know, what are the words, John? There's no one holding up that anymore. There's no one being the voice of reason and saying, we are all in this together, we're doing this together. And I don't know what else to say other than that breaks my heart.
Well, what happens, typically what happens though, and when we were MagnaWave people, we saw this, and this was one of the main reasons why we wanted to create a different kind of community, is that, and it kind of gets back to the mindset of what I was talking about earlier. Are you a competitor or are you a creator? Because if you're a competitor, if you're going in to cut rates and to be competitive toward one another, you'll ultimately, that's a negative game, and the negative game always goes down, down.
You're cutting your own throat.
You're cutting your own throat. But if
you're cutting your own throat.
If you're a creator and you're saying, what is it that I am creating, and what value am I creating, then you come at it from a totally different intention, and the intentions that you're going to be bringing, the clients that you're going to be bringing with those intentions are going to be people that appreciate value. The people that appreciate price are always going to find somebody else cheaper. The Walmart shoppers are always going for something else cheaper. And you know what? If it's PEMF, you know what is a competitor to cheap PEMF? Aspirin. You can't compete with a $5 bottle of aspirin, you know? So if you're going for cheapness, if your price is your game, you will never be able to get cheap enough so that you will continue to win. It's a going out of business strategy for sure. Every single person that plays that strategy ends up going out of business. So you can always watch those people. I would love to have someone in my market to go and that's cutting prices, because you know what you can do? You can go and see those customers. You can go, you know, when you want to get results, here's my card. And always people that that when you get results for somebody, they stay your clients. When they're shopping your price, you have a one-time check, and that's it.
We had somebody come in the area who undercut us, and now I'm struggling to hold clients because of the money. And literally, my local clients are telling me I need to drop it even. They want me to drop it $15 to $20 more an hour. Yeah,
and those are people,
you know what?
You need to just get more clients, because the game is not, you know, a finite thing. You know, 1 out of 3 people are in pain, and there's how many dogs, how many horses, how many people, how many, you know, things that are in your market, and you just need to get more creative.
And the other thing I just wanted to point out is add value. You know, we used to say to people, you know, people would tell us, oh, well, these MagnaWave people are doing spot treatments for $20. And we're like, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You know, so we would say, you know, say, I'm going to do a full body treatment on your horse, and I'll include, you know, 10 minutes in the chair for you. You know, add value. Before you cut price, add value. And the other thing is, it just goes back into, there is always enough business for everyone. There are always people that are going to resonate with you personally.
Yeah.
You know, John tells stories of going through a barn. Go ahead, Angela, go ahead.
I do have them. I'm just saying this is what happened recently in our area, and we're in a pretty small area. I'm in a pretty small town, so word travels, and now there's people driving 90 miles out of the way to go to somebody who is almost half price.
Yeah, but if you point out to them the cost of their driving 90 miles each way, like, I don't care how much.
I know.
It's like,
Like, how do they value their time?
That's
They
not
don't
what it
value
used to be like.
themselves.
I know. So anyway, just a caution to just do your market research and support the market as a whole nationwide.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think also
But do you so
Go ahead, Elizabeth.
go ahead.
along with that, with what Angela says, I went to the Thoroughbred Makeover last year, and there were some other Pulse practitioners there, and then there was also people that have Pulse practitioners at home, and I reached out to those practitioners prior to even starting their horses when I found out that they use us, or and I found out how much they charge, what they do, especially like what they do just to make sure everything's right, because I wanted to do the same thing, wanted to charge the price, and I wanted to make sure they had the same experience with me that they get home, so they don't go back home and say, well, Elizabeth charged this, why do you charge this amount of money? And to me, that was a big goal for me, that I wanted to keep everything even keel. Granted, I did charge $10 less because it was a Thoroughbred Makeover, and my friend had gone through it and had to spend a lot of money, but I want to make sure that I'm not downcutting or I'm undercutting their clients for when they go back home, because then they're going to expect that price when they go home.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that was really professional. That was being really professional. That's what we've always been trying to get across to people. This is a profession, and the way you handled it, Elizabeth, was perfect. That was perfect. And we all need to be that respectful of each other. And that's what's going to make this industry great, as having it be, we work together, it's a win-win, we're all in this together. How can we all help all these different people and animals and have a lot of money and have a lot of fun? I mean, it really is possible, but you have to have that aptitude, and you can't have the fear. You can't have the fear, and that you have to have the belief that what you're offering is powerful and worthy and valuable. And, back to, prayer, thank you for bringing us the people who want, need, can easily afford, and will be dramatically helped, because the people are out there. There is more than enough for everyone. There's more than enough.
So one of the things that we do in our
going in there with that.
Sorry, didn't mean to talk over you, honey. But one of the things that we do in
No, go ahead. I love you. Fine.
In our marketing class, and this kind of goes right in what you were saying, Elizabeth. You did this. So if you are, and this goes right along with what you're saying, Angela, is that I think everybody wants to know where they are in the market, and it's really important for you to know where you are in the market. People that are that add more value, that are better at getting results, will get more money. And the best way for you to make more money is to be better at what you do, but you still have to communicate that to other people. And one of the best ways to go, I think, everybody is always asking me, what can they do to market their business better? PEMF is a very small community, especially when you compare it to, any other modality. I mean, there's maybe 1,000 people that are in the business for real. And, but if you can start to identify the people that are in your market, what you really should be doing is you should be looking at exactly what they're doing. You should be copying the stuff that's working and not doing the stuff that is not working. Find out from them. If they're offering a lower price, that's probably because they're really hurting for business. I mean, if you don't cut your price if you're not hurting for business. So don't model yourself after them, model yourself after the people that are doing really, really well, and go on their Facebook page, go on their website, see what it is that they're telling other people, see what things that they're using. Look at the posts that they're doing. If you see a post that Pulse Center is doing, MagnaWave is doing, we're doing, anybody else is doing, and they're getting lots of likes, copy that. You may not want to copy it exactly. You want to put your little spin on that. But those are things that are resonating with your clients. So what you want to be doing is you want to be putting out their content that puts you as an authority. If you're an authority and if you're the person in your market that's recognized as the leader, you're going to get, there's an 80-20 rule. You're going to get the majority of the business. Everybody else is going to be struggling. And you know, when you have more than enough clients that are paying what you want them to pay, you don't worry about the ones that are whacking you for trying to tell you to cut your price. So what you want to be doing is you want to be going and looking for that content, looking for those marketing opportunities that other people are using, and then copying those and using what's working. We have, I think, was it week 4 or whatever, we do 50 things to market your business. Now, you can't do all 50 of the things, but what you can do are things that really resonate with you, that really ring your bell, and then put your unique spin on it. Everybody there, each one of you guys has a unique value that you bring to your market. What you need to do, and through this 8 weeks is what we want to help you do, is we want you to find out what is your unique thing that you bring to the market. What is it that you can do better than anybody else out there? And you know what? Every single one of you has that thing. You may not have found it yet, but you have that thing. And if you can find that thing and then communicate it to other people, you are going to make a lot more money than you would if you're trying to appeal to everybody else and cut your prices. So that's our whole game plan.
Hey, John, tell the story about when you went through all the barns and then you trained that one young woman in Kentucky and then she went through the barns.
Yeah, so this was early on when I was just training people one-on-one. This lady came to me from, and I was in the Kentucky Horse Park, and Kentucky Horse Park has like 20 or 2,000 horses. And I had been there like 3 or 4 weeks. And so I had been through those barns like all the time. And this was on a Saturday, I think it was a Saturday. And I had just been through the big barns there. And this lady just got her machine. She was a single mom and had a young boy, and they were hungry and they needed to make some money. And so we had been a full day of training, and it was getting in the afternoon. I wanted to go back and shower and then come back and watch the Grand Prix. And she says, I'm going to go walk through the barns and try to see if I can find some business. And I'm thinking to myself, oh yeah, good luck with that. Like I've been through all these barns. I've talked to these people. I know. So I went home and showered and had a little dinner and came back, and I'm like, hey, her name was Alex. And I'm like, hey, Alex, where are you? She's like, oh, I can't come to the Grand Prix. I'm treating horses. I'm like, what? She goes, oh yeah, I went through barn 17 and I found 2 clients that wanted me. One wants me to treat 2 horses. The other one saw me and wants to treat one of their horses. I'm like what? I just went through that barn that morning. And so she had something very unique to offer. She appealed to somebody that I didn't, and she was brand new. Like she had just bought her machine. She didn't know what she was doing, but she was hungry and she wanted to go through, and she found the people at the right time. It was like, hey, I want to get my horse treated. So she picked up $300 that afternoon, and that I had completely just walked right by. So each one of you has that capability to attract business, and what we're all about is trying to help you find your voice and your unique value so that you can communicate that to the clients that you attract, your ideal clients. And this whole thing about attracting, about your intentions, and what that does is your brain is like a magnet, and the thoughts that you put out there draw people in. So if you're thinking negative things, you're going to get negative clients. If you're thinking cheap things, you're going to get cheap clients. If you're being a cheap person, you're going to get cheap clients. So if you want to make more money, think about who you want to do business with. Who are your ideal clients? And then vision them coming and being your clients. I think the number one thing that I would love you guys to do is by next week, tell me why your best client wants to be your client. So if you sit there and think about that, who is your absolute best client? And then if you don't know why, between now and next week, ask them. Call them up and say, you know, I'm in this class and, you know, my instructor says I need to ask you why you like being my client. And just ask them. And I want you to know 100% this is why my best client. And if you don't have any clients yet, if you guys are still new, you don't even have any clients yet, then think about what it is what your best client would be like, and what it would be like to have a best client. Someone that keeps you busy, someone that pays your price, someone that is happy and tells all their friends about you. That's the clients that you want to concentrate on and what you want to focus on. If you do that, you'll get more of them. So we're 3 minutes past our time here. I'm about to turn into a pumpkin.
So we haven't heard from Jolene. We haven't heard from Jolene or Leslie or Teresa.
Teresa's been chatting.
You guys just Teresa's been chatting. And Jolene's been chatting. It's so good to see you, Leslie, and your little one.
I think the little one's asleep.
Oh, no, she is not. She is not asleep.
Where's P? P. I think I'm missing a dog.
All right, you guys. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for coming and being with us tonight. And you got your homework, so tell us why you got your best client. What is it they love about you? And make a list.
And what is your intention?
So, all right, that's your homework. If you guys need me, you just email me, info@druglesspractitioneracademy.com. Otherwise, we will see you same time, same station. How did you guys like the Zoom? Do you think the Zoom's a good thing?
This is so much better than last time. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's what we thought too, Elizabeth.
Oh, this is awesome.
Took me a little while to get used to it. It was like, whoa, wait a minute.
I love putting faces with names that I see on the Facebook pages. So that's kind of cool.
Yep. All right, guys. You guys have a good one. Thanks a lot. See you next week.
Thanks. Thanks, John. Thanks, Sherry.